Good morning and welcome to He Sees Us All YouTube channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about the famous globe Earth versus flat Earth battle. I want to make it really clear, in no way do I expect to settle this debate, and that's because neither side wants to give a little to the opposing side. What we do know is real, though, is that we can predict eclipses, we can predict planetary positions, and we can predict returning comets, like Halley's Comet. We can predict asteroids, we can watch their, travels around the sun and such. But what we also know is real, that from the ground you can see many more miles out than the globe Earth model should allow. And we know that NASA's constantly faking imagery, and we also know that water always seems to find its level. So if one side would just open up their minds just a little bit, and the flat earthers are just as bad, because once they see the earth as flat, they want to hear nothing from the opposing side. Like someone who has become a quote-unquote flat earther all of a sudden thinks that the person holding a PhD, or even someone that they once saw as really intelligent at one point in their life, has lost every ounce of intelligence because they don't agree that the earth is flat. And this is exactly what's wrong with us as a society, and this is why we've hit a rock wall in evolving. The inability to work with your fellow man and to remain open to all the possibilities is just really hindering us in growth. God created this world and everything in it for all of us. And with God, the possibilities are going to remain endless. And for something to remain endless, it's ever-changing and ever-evolving. Only God could remain endless. And with that being said, why can't the earth be both flat and round? If you keep your mind in the world of physical and solid, I guess it can't in a sense. But if you take your mind out of that gutter and start thinking about existence as actually not being physical, it only feels real thanks to all the electrical stimulation and different vibrational frequencies that we're experiencing day to day, but it's actually just a running program, one that we're time and time again trying to debug. We are all spiritual beings who have forgotten from where we came, and I believe that with CERN, man's trying to hack the actual programming itself. They tell us that they're trying to learn how the universe was created, that they're smashing particles together, creating new ones, creating mini black holes, and observing. I believe that that is what they're doing, but I believe that it goes so much deeper than that. CERN's particle collider is just one of many that are all over the world, and the Earth is constantly vibrating at a specific frequency. It's called the Schumann resonance, and I think we're trying to change that vibrational frequency of the Earth to sync it up with another point of light or another program, if you must, or as many know it as tearing the veil. Now, this is off course a little bit, but this is all going to come together, I promise you. In the quantum world, light particles have no direction until they're observed. When they ran a particle, they shot these light particles through two slits, and it could go through one slit or the other. You would think in a physical world, if reality was what we expect it to be, it would go in one slit or the other. When an observation was not made, it formed a wave pattern, basically going through slits that didn't even exist, but once an observation was made, that pattern was no longer formed. It went through one slit or another. Again, this is off course a little bit, but it all ties in, because I'm trying to explain to you how our reality isn't real until we're here to observe it. So the determining factor for the flatness of the Earth, I guess you would say, would be your observation point. Think of yourself as an avatar if you must. I don't really like using these words because I feel like they give less significance to what I'm trying to say here. But if you see from the eyes of the avatar, the world around you only exists when you're in there and you're in it and you're playing. It's like the old saying, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? The short answer for that, I guess, would be no, but you'd have to consider what I'm saying. And the long answer would also be no, but the tree would too have to have no energy or no life force. It'd have to be void of all energy itself. I don't want to get too off base here, and I also just want to say and emphasize on this that our time here is no less significant if we're in a simulation. It is just as significant because we're here for a reason. We entered here as spiritual beings to learn, to grow, to evolve. Now, think of the angels or the watchers as the gamer on the outside looking in. And God? Well, God created the whole shebang. He created the game, the council, and even the angel. He even gave the angels a space to watch in. And the difference here? The avatar can decide whether or not it wants to act out a command that it's giving by the gamer. The free will setting, if you must. Hence why the devil so badly wants to integrate us with AI, because it will take away that no option. So, the further you are from the game's ground level, the larger area you can observe. You can see the world, like the whole layout of the world at some points, and then you can just see specific areas at other points. And then you're dropped into your play zone, where you go on with your day-to-day life, trying to avoid commands being entered in by the game player, Lucifer, with some days or levels being harder than the others, sometimes winning or succeeding, and sometimes losing, as we do in life. And from an outside observation point, I mean way outside our playing field, it begins to appear to shrink, eventually even becoming just a point of light. I often looked up at the stars and I wonder if they are just other programs running, or even if they're the same program running, just different versions. And that's why we're all experiencing these Mandela effects right now. I think that CERN is literally tearing the veil, causing one program to run into the next, with the ultimate goal of integrating the gamer, or the fallen angel, into the game. A big practice of the occult is as above, so below. So maybe when man finally accepts the mark of the beast and integrates himself with AI from here, that will rip the veil, allowing the fallen from there to enter and come into here. Enter this reality, as above, so below. God was very careful to lock these entities out of our world. They may be able to administer commands or even control an avatar by possession, but they're not allowed in here physically yet. But every day we seem to be inching closer to that final tearing of the veil. We may think that we're capable of building our own world, and we may think that we're capable of being gods ourselves, and that we can make our own rules and our own laws of physics, and for all we know, they're already uploading people's consciousness who have passed away, like that X-Files episode. They've been working on it for 20 years now, so it's really not that far out of the realm of possibility. I truly hope not, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. And it would more likely be an eternal jail cell with no release date than it would a beautiful, everlasting world that we made for ourselves with no pain and no war and whatnot. It wouldn't be as expected, I'm sure. So, do I believe that the earth is flat? My answer, I guess, would be that it all depends on where you're observing from, both physically and spiritually.